everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and welcome to Board Game Breakfast. We're glad to have you with us today. Our show today, which is going to have lots of different segments from different people in gaming, including myself, is sponsored by Pandasaurus Games. Pandasaurus has been making some pretty fantastic games, and you can go and watch. Last week we did a live playthrough of Godspeed, their brand new game about colonizing another planet and being just as fighty on that planet as we are on our own. We're just essentially you're trying to have the best colony. Some really cool things going on in that game. And like I said, you can watch our playthrough to see more about it. Alrighty, well folks, we are now entering 2 different weeks than normal. So we've been putting up a lot of different shows on the Dice Tower and things like that. But this week, there's going to be a few things that go up, some reviews and such. But for the latter part of the week, from Wednesday till Sunday, we're going to be participating in Virtual Con in conjunction with Board Game Geek. You can find the link in the description below. And you're all invited to come. If you were already coming to Board Game Geek East, Board Game Geek Family or Dice Tower East, you already have a free ticket in. If you want to run an event, it's free. Otherwise, it's minimal cost. You can go check it out. And this way you can meet with other people and just on these days continuously play games online, whether it's on Tabletopia, Tabletop Simulator, on your iPad, Zoom. There's going to be some events that you can watch, participate in. It's going to be a lot of fun, so I hope that you join us. Because the Dice Tower gang is going to be involved in this, we're going to even be putting some events on. During this, we're not going to have as much content on the Dice Tower channel itself this week because we're participating in this. So if you want to see us and come try to play a game with us during Virtual Con. Next week, we're going to be doing the Dice Tower Summer Spectacular. With over 80 games we're going to be giving out as prizes, 5 top 10 lists, interviews with publishers, playthroughs of games, and more. We hope you join us then, but that's a week away, so let's just talk about this week, and let's talk about gaming. Here we go. Okay, folks, the thing we're going to look at today is a website called tabletop.events, and that's what this is on, the Virtual Gaming Con. I'm talking very specifically about it here. Gaming together virtually. So now there are other videos that show everything that's going on with this website, so I don't want to get too much into it. But if you want to be involved in this, the first thing you would do is you would buy a badge. You come in here, there are different types of badges. If you have a badge, I already have one here, you can see that. Once you're done with that, then you'll probably want to look at the different events that are happening. And there are tons of events that are in this thing. So let's say maybe I want to play Marvel Champions. So I look for that. And here's Marvel Champions, Baseball Highlight Championships. There's a lot of games with the word champions. Here's Gizmos. It tells you what kind of game it is, what room it's in. So let's say I'm thinking, I would like to look at more about Super Fantasy Brawl. I come in here, it tells the person who's hosting it. There's no tickets, although I can get on a waiting list if I wanted to. And then there's a Discord channel that you can use, and it's going to be using Tabletopia. You say, well, I wanted to play a specific game. Well, you'll notice that a lot of these games have filled up already. It's really easy to make your own game, to go in here and submit an event. And you can see these are all my events that I have already. But you can go into a new one. You can type, it's a boarding card game. You can go up here and type the name, a description, more information about it, when it's going to start, an alternate time start in case something goes wrong, how long, how many tickets, what online virtual game system will be used to play. And then later on, you can look at my schedule. So my schedule needs to be filled out a little bit more, but you can see I already have some events located on my schedule right here. And then, of course, there's Discord. You can jump in here, and there's a lot of how-tos. This system is really nice. I think not only will this work for virtual gaming cons, but I think it's going to work for normal board game conventions soon. So I'm really excited to try this out. I hope you all consider getting involved, and there's going to be a lot of fun events during this time. You can see them here already. Just lots of cool stuff, and we hope you join us this week. And this is found at tabletop.events, and then you'll look for Virtual Gaming Con, or you can find the link, like I said, on Dice Tower or Board Game Geek.
Hi, everybody. I'm Starla.
I'm Mick.
And we are
Our Family Plays Games.
And today, we're going to show you another one of our favorite family games.
Stone Age.
Stone Age.
Yeah.
Now, Stone Age is a game we were introduced to when we first got into this hobby. And when I first saw it, I saw all the components. It was frightening to see all these things you have to do. But after it was explained to us and we learned how to play it, it has become a favorite at our table.
We're not afraid to feed those meeples.
That's right.
Yeah.
You've got to build your little tribe, and for every tribe member, you get a little dice, and you roll that dice, and that tells you...
And that stinky cup.
Oh, the cup. It doesn't smell that
stinky.
bad. And it's just awesome having a dice for every meeple. You get a chance to have cards that you can use to get points. You get little tiles on these,
the
huts. That's right, huts that you can use. And you get tools. And it's just an awesome little game. All the resources. Yep. I mean, I just love it.
We love it. Love it. This is a family game that introduces worker placement and a little bit set collection. And got a little dice in there, too.
Got some dice in there. So this is a great game for anybody who has a family, just anybody who wants to sit down.
And what Grant don't like? The math.
Yeah. And there's a lot of math. You got to add a lot of stuff.
Yeah. But it's fun, though.
Yeah.
It's fun, though.
There's a little math component.
Sneak some math on those kids. Sneak some math on them.
So, but other than that, it's great. It's an awesome game. So that's it for us.
All right.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Have a great breakfast, guys.
Bye.
It's not often I review movies, but I'll mention a quick movie I saw this week, Knives Out, which showed up on Amazon Prime. This is a movie I would give a 9 out of 10 to. I give very few 10s out when it comes to movies, but I really enjoyed this one. Essentially a modern murder mystery on the lines of Agatha Christie, with a big cast of fairly well-known actors, actually. And the movie, without spoiling anything, does some really good things throughout it. It has really strong, defined characters, even if a lot of them are fairly despicable people in general, and you find that out in the first 5 minutes of the movie. It has a pretty good message, one I liked. It has one of the best ending shots of a movie that I've ever seen. A lot of laugh out loud moments, but also you feel like there's some peril and things going on. Daniel Craig plays an amazingly different character than James Bond in this one, as he plays a very unique detective who's similar to Agatha Christie's detectives, but also kind of brings his own charm to it. And like I said, caricature actors and all, but really fast. I mean, the movie's 2 hours long, 2 hours 10 minutes, I believe, and yet it never felt like it was dragging. It always felt like there was interesting things. There's something that happens halfway through where I almost thought the movie was over at that point, and indeed it was not. Twists and turns, but I never felt like the movie cheated. It showed you everything. You just weren't looking at it necessarily in the right way. Any more than that, and I think I tread into spoiler territory, so just to say, this is one of the best movies I've seen in a long time, Knives Out.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, we are Ryan and Bethany.
From Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
All right, today we're going to be talking about Tiny Towns. In this game, you're going to be drafting different kinds of cubes, putting them on your board, and when everybody else has to take that same color of cube, put it on their board. And then on the next person's turn, same thing. They're going to take a cube of a color of their choice, and then you have to put it on your board somewhere. You're eventually going to turn all those cubes into buildings. Those buildings are worth points, and you're going to start kind of running out of room, having to adjust everything, trying to maximize all the different points and all the different buildings on your board.
I think that this game is really neat because it fits this complexity weight level that I don't see. It's light, but it's not super light. And there's strategy, but it's not super strategic. It just has this really nice weight to it that I don't see a lot.
Yeah, we've been having a lot of fun with it. It goes by really fast. One of the things I like about it, too, is there's different options as far as the cards. So let's say that the farms. There's 4 different farms in the game. You shuffle them up and choose one of them to work with. So every time you play the game, there's kind of a different experience. And you have to kind of tweak your strategy a little bit based off of what you see out there. And there's also strategy versus tactics. It does it really in a cool way. You have to kind of plan ahead. You have to kind of get the cubes arranged in a way that's going to work for you to get those larger buildings that are worth more points and have the stronger abilities. but also you need to kind of be able to react to what everyone else is doing. So you get this, this random yellow cube out of left field, and you got to figure out where you're going to put it. You have to be able to react to that and kind of make do with what you have. Similarly, as we like to talk about our weight loss journey, what we're doing with that, I'm not too bad at doing the strategy part of things, planning ahead, bringing a lunch, counting calories, all those kinds of things work really well with my brain. What I do have a hard time with is the tactic side of things. Let's say someone brings in donuts for breakfast at work, throws that curveball in there. How am I going to react? Am I going to say no? Probably not more as often as I should. And so that's where I need to get better, is at the tactic side of things.
All right, everybody, if you want to hear our full thoughts, find us on YouTube under Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. This is Ryan and Bethany, hoping you have a happy, healthy breakfast. Bye, guys.
Everybody.
What's up, everyone? My name's Melissa McCack, and this is Smashing Buttons and Slamming Cards. This is a segment where I talk about a video game I love and I connect it to a board game I love. And this week, I want to talk about Kingdom Hearts. This is a whole series of video games, and I've played a few of them, and they are really cool. You're going on adventures, pretty much, and you're taking the place of certain characters and differing characters throughout the story. And the story in this game is really awesome, and it's got this whole Disney feel to it. There's Disney characters involved and everything, and all of these different characters are interrelated as you play through their stories. I want to connect that to Villainous. Villainous is again, it's got this Disney theme to it, and you are playing as one of the villains in this case. And I'm connecting it to Kingdom Hearts for a couple of reasons, right? So one is the Disney theme. Two is playing as these different characters. But for Villainous, you are trying to defeat the heroes, and you're playing these fate cards and other players. You're trying to accomplish your personal goal. It's got variable player abilities, powers, all these sort of things. It's very, very cool. I would never play it with more than 3 players personally. Otherwise, I think it sort of overstays its welcome, but that's just my personal opinion. Anyway, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like, you can check out mine and my brother's YouTube channel called Room 51 podcast, and we're on Twitch, Room 51 Live. We're just everywhere, so check it out. I'll catch you next time.
Alrighty, so like I said earlier, there's not going to be a ton of stuff coming from the Dice Tower this week, but there's nothing either. A few reviews at the beginning of the week. Probably the biggest one for me is Tekhenu, a dice drafting game, and the Shadow of the Obelisk is the subtitle. So you'll definitely want to probably look at that one. And we're still going to be doing our daily night chats at 9 p.m. each night. And then, of course, other things. Like today, I'll be playing through another app this morning. So on Monday and Tuesday, you'll see a decent amount of content from us, and then the rest of the week we'll take a break from that for a bit as we all join together to play games online.
Hey there, everyone. It's Jen, the board game librarian, with a super special From the Page to the Table segment today. We are at my library, Manchester Public Library in Connecticut, and I'm joined with a special guest. I'm joined with
Lindsay Davio from Restoration Games.
So what we want to talk about today is the new set for Unmatched, Cobble, and Fog. So tell us a little about Cobble and Fog.
Well, this is super right up your alley because all of the characters are based on fiction that was written in Victorian England. So we've got Sherlock Holmes and Watson. We've got Jekyll and Hyde. We've got the Invisible Man and Dracula. His sister minions. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've seen the sister minions. Everyone needs a good minion.
Oh yeah. And he's got plenty. He's got 3.
So what does this set, and they're all going to come as a 4 set for this one. So what, do we have new mechanics going on here? What are some new things?
The big thing is Invisible Man has fog tokens.
Ooh.
So he can kind of like pop around the board, in and out of the fog because nobody can see where he's coming and going. And then he has some cards that kind of trigger off of the fog, like he can basically like punch out of the mist. Like, where did that come from?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's also my favorite sculpt in the game.
Ooh, and this is him right here?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll try to take a picture of this. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I love all of my sculpt babies, but Yeah, he's real good.
No, that's cool. So coming soon, we're thinking?
Goblin Fog should be out this summer.
This summer. Okay, excellent. Thank you so much again for coming to the library and for joining me on breakfast today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. We'll see you next time. Happy breakfast.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Shauna from Pip Wonder, and this morning I have a little segment for you that's very short indeed. I have one question. This is my friend Ben. This is my board game, Near and Far. How did Ben get into my board game? I want to be in a board game. I want to be in Near and Far. His cat got in the board game. What is the deal? How do you get in a board game? And this excludes anybody that's hired by the Dice Tower, obviously. They automatically get on board games. It's part of the job, apparently. No bad feelings here. Well, that's all I have for you today. I hope you have a lovely day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Are there any doppelgangers in your board games? Let me know about them. I'd love to see them. You can post some pictures of them on my Facebook if you want. You can find me on Facebook at Pip Wonder, or you can check out my channel, Pip Wonder, on YouTube.
It's interesting to me, many times, I noticed this recently this week with a review I read of a board game where they compared it to an older game and basically said the older game was better and the new game couldn't live up to the older game. And that's something that I definitely have done in the past too, where you just aren't going to be as good as Game A. And every game after Game A is compared to Game A, and if it's not better, then why keep/play it? Now, this is an interesting subject and definitely one that will help us when it comes to having a small collection of games. You don't want every game, so therefore you want the best of a genre. So you're going to want Game A if it's the best, until maybe eventually Game T comes by and is better. Okay, well now Game A gets replaced with Game T. But I do worry about this line of thinking sometimes, especially when it comes to myself, because if I'm constantly saying, well, it's not as good as Game A, first of all, do I have an unreasonable nostalgic attachment to Game A? And also maybe I've played Game A quite a bit more, so I know the ins and outs of Game A more than the new game. So I have to keep that in mind. Secondly, the people that I'm talking to about Game X may not know or be able to find Game A. So it's kind of annoying to them when I say, well, this new game is good, but you're better off getting this much older game that's out of print, hard to find. Well, that's not always easy to do. So I think there's kind of a balance here. Yes, it's definitely easier, and we often see people go to the other extreme. The cult of the new, where every new game, Game B is better than Game A, but Game C is better than Game B, and Game D is better than Game C, and just give me the newest one so I can stick it into my house and gaming collection. And I might as well keep all the old ones too. But we can often go in the other direction. How many games of each type do you need? Well, maybe one. Maybe multiple. That's going to be up to you. But I think there are other factors to take into your mind when you're considering games next to each other, because I might say, for example, that the very first game of some genre is amazing, but if it's difficult to find or the artwork is ugly and will put some people off, maybe sometimes I can compromise and still play a very fun, more modern game that is easier for people to access, So it's just something to think about. We do definitely get attached to our games, and definitely the cult of the new is strong. But I would argue that even though the cult of the new is strong, modern games do get better because they often build upon the fantastic things from the past, learn from their mistakes, learn from their successes, and get better. So I don't know, kind of a rambly things there, but I do wonder sometimes if we get stuck on games in the past, and sometimes that doesn't help people who we're trying to introduce games to. Someone can come to me and they can say, what game should I get? And I can say, here's 10 games you need to own. But if none of those are in print, am I really doing them a service? I think not.
Happy breakfast, everyone. Today I'm going to give you my thoughts on a big first world problem when it comes to owning this many board games. Now, for me, having the ability to fit an expansion in a base game box is really helpful because it stops a lot of the space being used up on the shelf. You know, these just kind of fit on the front, these Terraforming Mars ones, that's fine. But when it comes to stuff like Galaxy Trucker, that's an entire another box. It's the same size as the base game. That's a lot of room that could be used for something else. Now, some people really dislike throwing away expansion boxes. You know, at the end of the day, they normally have nice artwork on, and you've paid money for that box. It's not just the contents inside, although that's really what you want from it. And it does mean that it's hard to separate content. So one game that I've done it on that I probably regret was King of Tokyo, because it means that there's so much content crammed into that box with the expansion that it means it's hard to differentiate what's base game content and what's not, which means it's harder to get to the table with new players. The rest of the time, though, I've been very happy to ditch an insert of a base game box to manage to fit it all into one box just to save the room. But is that a criminal sin? Let me know in the comment section below. And I'm Oliver East, who does discard expansion boxes. Signing out.
Well, hi everybody, I'm Doug Jr.
And I'm Tabitha.
Who? Just kidding. This is my oldest daughter, Tabitha. Actually, this is my oldest child, and she's going to play our Guess the game today. Tabitha's going to play our little game, of which I have been incorrect every single time so far. But what we're going to do is I'm going to have Tabitha go to the shelves. She's going to pick out a game that she'd like to play. Now, Tabitha doesn't play a lot of games with us. She prefers to set out a lot, but there are a couple of games that she will play. Tabitha's going to go to the shelves. She's going to pick out the game that she would most want to play, and we'll see if my prediction matches that. So, well, Tabitha picked a game called Dixit.
Yep.
And we have played this several times together, and we've played this with a lot of friends. This is a party game. It plays up to 6 people. And this is a game that's really cool, where you have these really, really great cards that have wonderful artwork on them that you have to, the active player gives a description of it, and the other players have to kind of guess which one they're talking about. And my prediction today, actually, I finally got one right out of all the family members. And that's because you don't play too many games with us, I think. But we have played this one a lot, and she's really good at it. I would call Tabitha.
That's why I like it.
Yeah, she is good at it, and she's a creative person, a creative individual. And this game really gives you an opportunity to be creative and imaginative. And Tabitha, thank you for being my first winning experience with the Guess Your Game game. So, hey, thanks so much for joining us. And you know what? I'm still not out of family members. We have some more surprises coming up. So join us next time on the Fellowship of Meeples. For now, I'm Doug Jr., and we'll see you then.
And that's it for another Board Game Breakfast. Thanks to all the contributors. Thanks to everybody who watched us. I hope to see you all at Virtual Gaming Con this week. It's going to be fantastic and fabulous. And then next week, the Dice Tower Summer Spectacular is going to be, well, hopefully spectacular. Anyhow, thanks so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast. Thanks to Pandasaurus for sponsoring the show. Check out Godspeed, an amazing game. We'll see you all next time.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vasel and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production.